Welcome back. A new American school is revolutionizing education using AI. Alpha schools are at the forefront of a growing movement, providing students with a more personalized education experience using AI, this advanced technology. The school replaces a traditional classroom using AI tutors and adaptive learning platforms to identify students' strengths and where the gaps lie in the curriculum. So far, the results have been outstanding. Students scoring in the top 1% to 2% nationally in math, reading, science, and language. Joining me right now is the co-founder and the CEO of Alpha Schools, Mackenzie Price. Mackenzie, great to have you.
Maria, thanks for having me. There's nothing I like talking about more than education because it is the most important resource we have at our disposal to help young people be successful in this new world.
Absolutely. And I was talking to someone yesterday about the fact that it's been education and healthcare that have been impervious to any changes in technology for a long time. But suddenly, AI is actually moving the needle. Tell us about Alpha Schools. What's most important for us to understand?
Well, our traditional education system was built out of the Industrial Revolution to create workers. And now in this new AI world, it is so important that we create individuals who are dynamic, adaptable, and most importantly, have the skill of learning how to learn. So at Alpha, we're using artificial intelligence to raise human intelligence. Our students are able to get the level and pace of academic knowledge that they need meets them exactly where they're at. As a result, we see student growth exponentially go up no matter where a student comes to us. And we're doing all of this in only 2 hours during the school day instead of a traditional 6-hour academic school day. And then, of course, that begs the question, what do you do with the rest of the day? And our answer is that we teach life skills, leadership, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, public speaking, relationship building. Those are the skills that are going to help kids be successful. We also are teaching them how to use tools like AI that they're going to need to be rapidly successful at learning.
What I like about this is that when you see a certain proficiency that a student may have, you're doubling down on that and ensuring that they're getting lots of different angles in that one subject or two subjects, whatever it is, rather than force-feeding the child to learn about things that may not be useful at all.
Well, I actually think that it's really important to have academic knowledge within our brains just to make sure that we're drawing upon that knowledge for critical thinking skills. But we can take kids who are really proficient and advanced at a certain subject and show growth in the 80s and 90s. We can also take that same student who maybe struggles in a subject and we can help them be successful in that too. So I think what happens is this personalized mastery-based education system raises the floor for all students and blows the ceiling off what's possible.
This is so huge, Mackenzie. I got to tell you, I've been hearing so much about it. I've been talking to friends, and they're sending their kids to these Alpha schools. How many Alpha schools are there in the country right now? I know there's one downtown by Wall Street.
We have about 50 locations that are opening up all over the country, and I think that's a sign that families realize that their kids need to be prepared. They need the life skills that are going to help them be successful. And the other thing we fundamentally believe is that school should be a place that kids love, because when kids love school and they love going, they are able to unlock really big opportunities and unlock their potential, really. And the secret to our success, it's not the artificial intelligence, it's the fact that we have transformed the role of the teacher in our classroom. Instead of having to spend their time creating lesson plans and delivering lectures and grading homework, all those types of things, our teachers, we call them guides, are focused completely on motivational and emotional support, helping to really get to know kids and unlock their why. And that's what's making this model so successful.
This is really important because I want to talk about some of the things that people would criticize when it comes to AI. Talk to us about using artificial intelligence in the classroom and what you want to say about someone who says, look, I don't want my child in a screen all day.
Yeah.
I don't want them scrolling. I don't want AI to be the dominant force as opposed to talking with teachers.
There is so much fear around artificial intelligence, and there are a lot of good warranted concerns. So, for example, we don't use chatbots in our system. Chatbots in education are cheat bots. Our students instead are getting a precise lesson plan that's based off of the same curriculum that students in a normal school would be getting. So this isn't ChatGPT just making up questions for students. So that is something that we've been able to really secure and make sure it's right. Screen time is another one. I myself was a screen time free family, but there is a huge difference between doom scrolling TikTok all day or playing video games and getting a one-to-one one personalized learning experience that meets kids exactly where they're at. So I believe this type of screen time is actually incredibly valuable. And at our schools, our kids are actually spending less time on screens than the average student in a traditional school is nowadays. The difference is that this screen time is smart screen time.
I want to get your take on how the federal government has also supported Alpha Schools. I spoke with the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, and asked her about Alpha Schools just last week. Watch this.
We know that AI is here. We need to embrace it. We need to be ahead of China and other schools that are using these applications. So let's embrace it. Let's put the proper guardrails in place. This is not intended to replace teachers, but to be an additional tool for teachers, you know, in the classroom. At least that's how I see it. And I think that's how it's been explained to me. It's the best application of AI.
Tell us about that.
It was a pleasure to host the secretary at Alpha School. She took the time to really learn about our model, and she made a really important point. We're not replacing teachers. However, we are changing the teacher in front of the classroom model. That is an inefficient way to learn. Instead, when every student gets their own personalized tutor, that's where we're seeing such incredible growth. And we're allowing the humans who are dedicated to making that positive impact in kids' lives to have so much more success and efficacy doing so. So it's been a really great model, and I think more and more people are starting to realize that if we leverage artificial intelligence to really raise human intelligence, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it's really important. Now, one thing that has been raised to me when I'm talking about this with friends and people who tell me they're sending their children, it's expensive. So are you expecting prices over time to come down as it becomes more available? Tell us what you're expecting in terms of pricing and the availability of Alpha Schools.
We've gotten a lot of attention for Alpha School, and Alpha School is redefining what parents expect from their private school experience. So kids are doing crazy things like traveling, you know, to Europe and doing these camping trips, all kinds of activities that they're doing. But what you haven't heard about is what we're rolling out in Texas. We have Texas Sports Academies. Texas is a state that recently passed school choice. So there are students that have signed up for our program, the same academic platform that Alpha students are getting, and they are charged nothing for that. They're able to use school choice vouchers. The families that have signed up so far all come from incomes less than $65,000 a year. And we believe that when the registration period is done, our Texas Sports Academy students will make up the largest school district in Texas.
That's incredible.
So it is coming, and just like a lot of models, we have different types of schools, and there are families who maybe have the ability to go to an Alpha, and there are families who are going to be able to access this for free.
What do the unions say about all of this, Mackenzie?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think in general, teachers are nervous about when jobs change, and I think that's a really important thing. And part of what I want to help explain is that there will never be a place when parents say, I don't want to drop my kids off in a building surrounded by other students and loving, caring adults. So I believe that teachers can embrace this model, and they will have so much more power.
And you're putting students first. And that's really what we want to say. Mackenzie, congratulations. We're going to be watching Alpha Schools. We're doing a whole week on AI. We hope you'll come back during that week as well.
Thank you, Maria,
coming up.
for having me.
Good to see you. Mackenzie Price.